Over the years, there have been some pretty shocking haircuts in the AFL, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the top 25 worst ever haircuts in AFL history. Now, obviously, with this list, it's going to be my opinion, so there are obviously going to be players which you might agree on, might not agree on, that I might have left out, or that could be ranked in other orders. And it's quite ironic how I'm actually filming this in a stage where I really do need a haircut myself, so maybe I need to throw myself into this list. Luckily, I'm not an AFL player, so I don't need to do that. Let's get into the top 25. So number 25, we've got Nick Graham from the Carlton Blues. I think this is around 2013, 2014. He's got his, the blonde hair. I think it might be his natural hair color, but it's just not good at all. You've got the shaved sides. You got the weird hair, sort of like a fringe, and then you got the hair sticking up the top. I don't really know what he was going with that. If anything, that looks like the sort of hair that I would have getting out of bed. Now, number 24, we have a more recent one than probably a few of you guys probably know about. It's Matt Guelphy. This is, his weird bleached hair. In fact, there was a period in the AFL where a lot of players were adopting bleached hair, but I don't know why Guelphy had it. I think it's changed at this rate, and man, rightly so, because it wasn't great. Now, number 23, something a bit similar, is another bleached hair. This one's Jasper Pita, but I would probably say that this one's worse. You got the mullet, which doesn't really suit him, to be fair. I know Pittard's had the mullet before, which just looked alright, but the blonde mullet, then you got the weird shaved hair at the front. I don't know, not great at all. Number 22, we've got Matt Arnott from the Richmond Tigers back in 2012, 2013. He's got his hair slicked back with, like, I would have to say that he's used four full bottles of hair product, as my hair's completely screwed up there. Yeah, don't really know what he was going with that. Maybe this photo was taken, when his hair was slicked back, but if that's really what he was going with, that is a complete shocker. Now, number 21, I've got a haircut that I think is a lot more recent, and this is Josh Gibson. Now, you wouldn't think someone like Josh Gibson would have had poor haircuts, but in fact, he actually had another pretty bad one a fair while ago. But this one, he's pretty much a shaved head with a little bit of hair coming down from the back to the front. I'm not a fan of that sort of hairstyle, to be fair. Maybe if you guys do like it, but I don't know why he didn't just shave the whole thing off. Now, number 20, we have a hairstyle which in the AFL you do actually see quite a bit. This is Johannisen back in 2010. He was a big cult figure at the Tigers at the time, but one of the worst, in my opinion, dreadlocks I've seen from a player. Like, that's just filthy. I don't like the haircut, and I'm hoping that to this day he doesn't have the dreadlocks and he's changed it, but one of the worst, I'd probably say, dreadlocks. Now, number 19, something similar, more dreadlocks, but I feel like this is even worse than Johannisen. We've got Courtney Johnson back in 2005, Bombers player, and I don't know what the hell he was going with there, but that looks shocking. Next up, number 18, we've got an older one. This is Mark Harvey in the early 90s. Now, a lot going on with this, but pretty shocking. Similar to the first one, although this is now a mullet. So you got the fringe, the hair sticking up the top, and the mullet. Shocking combo. Now, 17, this is quite an iconic one. Recent player who I think still has this hairstyle to this day, so it is, quite popular, but it's Johannisen at number 17. I don't like it. It looks like 2-minute noodles just stacked on top of like his normal hairstyle, because I know for a fact that he's bleached that. It's unique, but it's very strange, and that's why it's number 17th. And number 16th, we've got Darcy Moore. This one's a really weird one. I don't even know how to describe it. Just a spiky hair. I think he had that for a little bit of a period, then realized it was crap, then moved on. But not a good haircut. In number 15th spot, we've got Nick Riewoldt. Now, back in the day, he had quite a few shocking hairstyles, and this one, in my opinion, is probably the worst. You've got the hair just covering his ears, covering half of his cheek, to be fair. I just don't know how to explain it. It's just shocking. The blonde hair makes it probably even worse. It's all over the shop. It's a mess, that one. Now, in at number 14, we've got Brendan Fevola back in the early 2000s when he had the dreadlocks. But these dreadlocks, I swear, they're like 4 times the size of normal dreadlocks. How thick are they? They look like a spider with the 8 legs crawling out of it. Don't know why he went with that. In fact, I don't know why players go with dreadlocks. I don't think it looks good at all. But of course, Fevola did change his hairstyle later on in his career. Now, number 13, a current player, but this was a fair while back. I think when he first started, at number 13, we've got Ed Curnow. Now, this is strange, because we all know Ed Curnow has the curly hair, but this, you've got the curly hair, but it's spiked up. It's really weird. That's really all I can say about that. Now, number 12. Now, this is probably to be fair, quite generous. I probably should rank this haircut even worse. We've got Michael Hurley, and a recent one in 2019 with I would almost label it a palm tree. His head's a pineapple. Seriously, what the fuck is that? What is that? I don't understand why, if he's gonna have a man bun, just have the man bun, but not have the hair flicked up in the air. It's really, really strange. Now, number 11, we have got a recent one, and this is Max Gawn. So it's pretty much a staple Max Gawn haircut, but the weird blonde strip down the middle. Why? Why did he think that was needed? Obviously, he came out of quarantine. People are saying that maybe quarantine got to him, but honestly, that's just, that's poor, that's bad. Yeah, I think he had that for a little bit, then realized it was crap and moved on. But yeah, in those Hey Google ads, instead of asking Google to play Max Gawn highlights, you should have been asking Google where the nearest hairdresser is so he can get rid of that shit.
Hey Google, play Max Gawn highlights on YouTube.
No, I will not be playing any Max Gawn highlights. But I found this in the web for hairdressers in your local area. So go to one, you wanker.
And speaking of get rid of that shit, we've got number 10, Sydney Stack. Now, he's been in a lot of controversy at late, but this is just horrible. Childish. This is the sort of haircut your 8-year-old daughter would want to have. But yeah, as an AFL footballer, why would you dye your hair pink? The only theory I would have is for his TikToks. Maybe he was planning something big there, but yeah, that is not great. Now, number 9, we've got, I don't know if it's iconic or not, but it's definitely not good. It's Wayne Carey, late 90s. What the hell is that mullet? It's curly at the back. It looks crap. It looks like a sheep. It's a sheep. That's a sheep hairstyle. Very bad. Very bad, very bad. But to be fair, that was probably the norm in the late 90s, you know, the 80s to 90s period. Now, number 8, probably one of the worst, or if not the worst, sort of curly hairstyle I've seen from an AFL player. This is Nick Coma. Now, he's a dud because I've never heard of him up until this day. He probably played 2 games, and rightly so. They probably delisted him just because of his haircut. Now, I just don't know what the hell that is. It almost looks like someone purposely cut out some of his hair. In fact, the first time I saw this photo, I actually thought that they went out the way to cut bits of his hair out. But no, that's literally how his hair looks. Shocking. Speaking of shocking, we got number 7, Bailey Williams. Now, I don't know how long ago this was, but it looks recent. That is a really bad mullet. He's dyed his hair blonde for starters, which I don't know why. He shaved his shaved the side of his head. He's got the mullet slicked back. It's bad. It's just not a good haircut at all. Now, number 6, more dreadlocks, but this has got to be the worst of the lot. We got Peter Everett back, I think, in the late 90s. I've looked, and he's had some pretty poor ones, but this one where he's got one side of dreadlocks on one side of his head and the other side's shaved. That's really, if you're going to go with dreadlocks, at least go the whole head. But you've gone half shaved, half not. Yeah, you look like a buffoon in that. He looks like an absolute buffoon in that photo. Anyway, we move on to the top 5. Hopefully this video is somewhat enjoyable. But at number 5, we've got Warrick Capper. Now, it's not a bad haircuts list without Warrick Capper. He's had many, many shockers. And in my opinion, that's the worst. He's not appearing in some sort of music video. In fact, I think he's made a few, hasn't he? But he's on the footy field. Why in the hell would you want to have that as a haircut on the footy field? You've got the ear pieces as well. Why is he wearing earrings? Not good at all, Warrick Capper. That's one of your worst. Now, number 4, we've got a more recent one. It's Josh Bruce in 2014. This is his first ever game as a Saint. And when I first saw him, I thought, what is he doing? Who is this hack with his horrible haircut? Now, I could go probably 0.5 things wrong with this. It's a mullet, but in the same way it's not a mullet because he's got the hair slicked back. The beard, half his head shaved. Yeah, that's horrible. That is horrible. Now we're into number 3, and at number 3 we've got Jed Anderson. Now I think this is recent, but what the hell is that? Now I think he only had this for 1 game. That is a complete mess at the top of his head. That's worse than Hurley's. That looks like I just put 4 of my dog's hairballs on top of Jed Anderson's head. So this is editing Cardi. I was literally about to finish editing and then I realized I missed out on a player that I had to put in, and that's Nathan Carroll. I would have put him in number 3 position, so I'm going to slide him alongside Jed Anderson as well. And yeah, this is, it's like you just didn't give a shit. It's almost as if Nathan Carroll himself did not give one single shit about what he had on his head. But yeah, I guess I'll just let the picture speak for itself of how horrible this is. Now moving into number 2, Now this is top 2. This is this is shocking, horrible territory. We've got Doc Wheeldon for Fitzroy. Now this has got to be early 90s, late 80s, I reckon. So pretty much he's got a bit of hair at the top and the rest of it's completely shaved. Some of these haircuts I don't know how to explain, and that one's one of them. The picture in itself just tells a story of how shocking it is. The whole back of his head is shaved, and then the sides are shaved, but there's just a little patch of hair at the top. And even the hair itself is shit. Yeah, that's definitely deserving the number 2, but we're gonna get into number 1. And number 1, I've got Clive Waterhouse. Now, I don't know how long ago this was, but it definitely looks like the 80s. It's just a rubbish mullet. It's a filthy mullet. It's a poor hairstyle. You got the hair flowing out to the shoulders, which I don't like. Then you got the front of the head with a strange hairline. That's worse than Capper's mullet, and that's why I've given it number 1. But to be fair, there might have been a couple that I've ranked a little bit below that probably could have topped this one. That's it. That is my top 25. Hopefully you somewhat enjoyed it. A bit of a different video, but if it goes well, I might do a top 25 or top 20 for something else. I can't really be saying awesome, you know, incredible, brilliant, because I saw none of that in this video. They were all shockers. If you guys did enjoy this video, and if you are new, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. But anyways, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video.